Hello YouTube, I'm Chris the Country Cottage Gardener and I've got crazy corona hair. Welcome back to another video if you're regular to the channel, but if you've accidentally stumbled across it because you're searching for something like cats or whatever crazy on YouTube, stick around and be bored by this stuff instead. There's lots of videos even on my channel and loads of other great people's about hedge cutting. Nothing new there. But there ain't a lot about how to cut a hedge and how to cut hedges properly. Now there's a lot of videos out there, as I say, some which are really good, and there are some absolutely skilled workmen out there who are using some fantastic tools and absolutely smashing it and making really good names for themselves. But unfortunately there are some out there which are a little bit to be desired. But anyway, I'm going to have a little run through, a little chat about some of the tools that I use and some of the techniques that I use to make the best out of a job. So, you can see behind me, there's this yew here, absolutely gorgeous hedge, but it's a little bit neglected. We've got some bindweed running through there, we've got a few brambles, it's a little bit thin in places, but hey, we've got these gorgeous silver birch behind, and I've got this beautiful big weeping willow there as well. So, you know, you could probably do with a feed and such, but there's only so much you can do when you're trimming a hedge, right? Set the camera up, you can have a little look, and then I'll jump in, interrupt myself, and we'll talk about a few of the little techniques that I'm using while doing this, and then I'm going to nip over yonder, and I'm going to show you a beech hedge. I feel sorry for that beech hedge, because a few years ago, before I took over this property, they had somebody come in who could cut hedges, and it was all bumpy all over the place. And I'd say over the last 3 years, I've let it grow in certain bits, I've let it fill out in certain bits, and I've cut other bits back harder. So it's a prime example of how somebody can cut a hedge badly. Anyway, let's crack on with some work. So hopefully this format's going to work. So here I am, I'm working away, and the first thing you'll notice is I'm keeping my feet parallel, straight into the hedge, so they're pointing into the hedge as such. And just sweeping up and down. This HS45 has got double blades on it, so it cuts from the top and the bottom. So don't be afraid to use both. Sweep up and down on the hedge, getting full coverage on it. You'll find a natural groove when you're actually hedge cutting for how the hedge responds. See, different hedges will respond differently, but because of a lot of this yew sticks outwards, you can see that I can sweep up and down across it. And you don't want to go at the hedge really quick. You want to be going slow, steady paces. It's not a race, you know. You're there to do a good job, and you know, you'll find a natural quick rhythm more and more hedge cutting you do. So you can see actually a lot better there, that you can cut on the up as well as the down, but you can see when I'm going down there it's slightly snagging, so you can tilt the hedge cutter slightly, and therefore you won't be catching the back because you've got bolts on the back of the blade, so you can just tilt it slightly and then that will cut, but you don't want to tilt it so much that you're gorging into the actual hedge. So when we're moving along, you can see there, nice sweeping up cut, and you're overlapping. You want to overlap your last cut, you want to overlap where your last bit's gone, so you're not throwing the full length of the blade straight into the new cut. You're going to be using part of the back bit which you've already cut as the guideline for the next sweeping cut, working your way from the bottom and then across the top and back down. As you can see there, straight back up again, finishing off, and you're blending as you go. You don't want to be seeing any of these tip marks from the top across the top of the hedge cutter. You want to be sweeping through and with each cut blending it through. So here we are, we're coming onto the corner, and I'm not going to be using the full blade at all here. You'll see that I'm actually having a good 6 to 8 inches way past the corner, and you're actually passing the hedge cutter over. Again, blending it. There we go. Missing completely, just using that back part of the hedge cutter, and then switch sides, and then do the same. You can, again, miss that tip out there, just using the back bit. Because if you go and use the full length of that bar, you're going to be gouging big parts of that hedge out. So when you're doing a nice sweeping corner, just switch sides. Use both hands. Use both sides of the blade. When you're working up against a brick wall or a building, carry your secateurs. No, you might get tip guards, but one, you don't want to be hitting somebody's wall. You don't want to be damaging your machine. Have your secateurs. Don't be afraid to get in there and just give them a little trim up. And along the bottom of the hedge afterwards, I always like to step back, have a little look, and just finish off and clear that underneath. And then I'll do that, and then I'll go across the top, and I'll work across the top. There we go. Just blending from where the blade has actually been touching across the top there, just running across and doing a nice smooth finish, ready for the next phase. Right, you beautiful folk. So, that's the basics of how I cut the front of pretty much every standard hedge. So I've talked over myself, been a little bit rude and interrupted a few times, but that's the basics of how you cut the front of a hedge. You know, a few little simple principles that I've jumped in there, hopefully, if this video works and I'm actually talking it for myself and the whole schemey thing that I've got going on works. So, we've done the face, we've done the underneath, we've done that beautiful little sweeping corner there. Little sweeping corner. What a beautiful little bit of action there. Giving you a little tip with that, I'm sure, as well, if I can get this all right. So, now we've got a look at the top. Now, as I span you around, you've probably seen that I've got a really nice little tasty ladder here, which is an A-frame tripod ladder. Lots of these out on the market, lots of different brands and whatever. But this one is made by Light, and I think it was classed as a fruit pick ladder. But I tell you what, it does the job. And it really changed my life. Thank you, Jason Gardner, amongst others, for recommending and bullying me to get one, because they are fantastic. But I'm going to be using my KM94RC, which is the Kombi system by Stihl. I've got an extra 1 metre pole that I can put in there as well. Let's shove all that together, and I'll show you how I do the top from down here. Because it's much safer to do as much as you can on the ground than to use a ladder and use something like the HS45 or whatever you've got. Anyway, let's go with that bit. Right, okay, so I've got the long reach on, and as you can see, we've got that sweeping corner. So a nice up close bit there. Put the camera on top of the ladder just so you can have a little closer look. Now obviously you're not going to be able to see so much what you're doing with this, so you tilt the head on the hedge cutter, and you're going to be using that. So again, like I was with the other corner, you're taking a little bit around. You're not going to be using the full bar intentionally at this point. You're going to be using a small amount and working from the face, top face, and then across. So as you can see there, again using the back bit, and we're overlapping. Now of course you can get the ladder up there, like I said, you can get the ladder up there and do it, but imagine if this was a hawthorn or whatever, and it's overgrown and you're up close to it. Why not work from the ground? Sweep across, you can work from left to right, right to left, from the middle, out as you like, it makes no odds. I tend to work from one end and work my way across. And then I work back across as well. So I'll do 2 sweeps across the top with face at this point. And we're reaching as far as we can. We don't want to overstretch ourselves, but we're using that machine to the full capacity, bearing in mind where the exhaust fumes are going to be coming out, because they're going to be pretty hot as well. You don't want them going onto you or onto the hedge or whatever. There we go. Switching out, putting the extra 1 metre extension pole in there. If anyone's got or thinking about these Kombi systems, I would say get one of those extra poles as well. Absolutely fantastic. Now I've sped this up, this bit of footage here. The unit does get a little bit heavy at this point, but that's good for building yourself up. And what do you expect? You're waving around a few extra kilo of machine. But you can really see from these shots here how high you can reach with these. I mean, this is about 3 meters in total, I think it is now. You can really see how it's going through some of that dense growth. But I'd say when you've got that pole on it, you don't underestimate the extra weight that you've got at the top there. You've got to use your core to really hold it back. Just go at the hedge as much as you can with it. You know, work slowly. Don't be afraid to go back over those areas. But don't forget, this is only working from the ground. We're going to go back up the ladder. We're going to go up the ladder in a minute, and we're going to be tidying that up in a different style. This is just sort of a preemptive cut to make it much easier from when you're actually going to be working up there in a minute. Right, my little tutti fruities. So, you've seen us with the extra extension in. Let's get rid of this thing. Come on, Boris, open up them hair salons. I need to get myself a do. So, we've done that extra long bit. Let's be honest, it ain't for the faint-hearted using those extensions. Now, I've got one more extension in there, but to be honest, I'm kind of pushing the 94RC to its limits there. You really want to be jumping up an engine size, but that's a whole different video. Let's have a little look at this ladder, and we can see how these ladders, all these types of ladders, really help. You is part of the conifer family, and they're pretty resilient. You'll do well to kill one. But if I ain't already talked about it, and if I'm over repeating myself, I will apologise. But hey, this is how the cookie crumbles. One thing you need to know when you're cutting yew is you got to make sure your tool maintenance is up to scratch. You want those blades nice and sharp, because they'll tear and rip and make it all horrible on the ends of the yew, and therefore you can get infections and all sorts of nasties getting in and browning off your hedge. It don't look very nice. Don't give a good professional finish. So, talking about the ladder, not talking about dull blades. There's the ladder. You can see how I've kind of put it into the hedge a little bit. Anyway, let's have a little go up there. I'll show you how stable they are. Right, here's a little closey uppy. I always give it a little stomp. See how it just sunk slightly. Some of the more expensive brands have got like rubber feet and adjustable legs and whatever. This one hasn't. But I'll tell you what I did. I was a little sneaky bean. This is hollow. I cut off the end, planed down a bit of wood, shoved it in there, drilled some holes, got a little bolt, and then I could make that adjustable. Sneaky. Anyway, here we go. Up the ladder. So now, this is a 3 metre ladder, and as you can see with the pole down there, I could just about reach up the top here. So now, you can see how good, by putting in those steps, I've managed to get that curve. But I want it a little bit tighter. But can you imagine working up here, and you've got all this foliage still coming right at yourself? It's very difficult to work when you're up close to it. So now I can have the 94RC, and I can just give this a nice little shape over. And this is what I was talking about, because it's a funny angle. Got a little bit of tear out. Come on, focus. A little bit of tear out on these. So it will probably show up a lot more when you're down below. But hey, we're going to sort that out, because we're going to bring the 94 up here. I'm just going to give this a nice curve. Now I'm not going to be doing the back, because that's the neighbour's side, but I'm going to be tidying up this face and doing as much as we can. There are bits of this where I'm going to have to be taking the 94RC and taking the centre extra pole out, but majority of it is going to be with the 45. So enough yak, you can have a look at that. Right, me little jelly beans. So, I've thrown the ladder in. I've gone over with the 94RC. I've shaped up those bits that I was talking about, and you saw from the video there. And now we're just sort of reaching. We're reaching a little bit more than we want to. We're starting to stretch ourselves with the safety thing. So what we want to do now, if we've got one of these long pole edge cutter thingamabobs, this is when you want to use that. But with this, you can bear in mind that you can pull the ladder back slightly. You can move yourself away from the hedge because you've got to compensate for that extra length. And you know, you can get the task done from a little bit further away when you've got a long one. So let's pull the ladder back and let's have a little go at that, shall we? Whoa, right, let's put this on and cover up the old bonnet. Now, weather's changed, coming over cloudy, a little bit of rain. We need it though, ground's so hard. So, there we are, let's have a little look. So, KM94RC, so this is a lovely little bit of tickled over you. Gone through the certain stages of what I do to actually cut the hedges. As I say, this isn't the densest view. I've got some absolute beauties of some hedges which I'll be showing in due course. Yew is in probably my top 3 favourite hedges to cut, and if anybody's interested, it goes conifer. Strange enough, I enjoy cutting a nice tight dense conifer. I'll put up a little linky up here to one that I done a while back and I do quite regular, and then it's got to be box hedging, and then yew. I don't particularly like, or I like hedge cutting. My least favourite is probably beech and laurel, because they're just messy hedges. Just purely for that, you get a nice little tighter finish with these sort of things when they're a little bit denser. There we are. There are a couple of cheeky little bits at the back there, but those are deceiving to the eye. They are actually long bits on the face from the other side, which I'm not doing. So, we've done the cutting. What are the options with tidying up? Well, you can make life easy for yourself and put down tarpaulin first, or I use scaffold as net. But when I'm on grass like this, and I know that I'm going to be mowing here next week anyway, I don't mind the clippings falling. So you use a rake. Use a good old-fashioned rake. Get it nice and raked up, and then you can just go over it with a mower. I mean, you could go over it with a mower as it is now, not a problem, mulch it, blow it back under the hedge. But I'm just going to rake it over and then go over with the backpack blower, and then any little bits that are left will just get mowed up next week anyway. Didn't take long, did it? There we are. couple of seconds, taken just a rake up there, because I was bringing it all down with the Wolfgarten. Now I've done a video on this, put a little link up here if I remember. If not, don't be lazy, go back and search for it. Wolfgarten bits, fantastic. Now I could get the blower along there, but to be honest, because I'm a beast with a rake, there's hardly anything there, and the mower will pick it up, apart from that bit and that bit. But you didn't see those, don't tell anyone. There we go. Anyway, that's that done. That's how I hedge cut. Hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't, probably best off keep searching for those cat videos. Anyway, I'm going to get on and cut this beech hedge around here. I ain't going to talk, so if you want to watch that, I'll stick it on a little bit of cheeky fast forward. You can watch me do that as well. Anyway, beautiful people, thank you for watching. If you don't already, like, subscribe, comment, all that great stuff. And just before I tickety-boo off, I would like to say a little thank you and hello to 2 other YouTubers. And I'm not going to discriminate against all the other YouTubers because there's a lot of fantastic ones out there. But I'd like to say a little thank you and hello to Jason Gardner. I'm sure if you're watching my drivel, you'll enjoy his equally as much. And if you're into the high pace, high octane with a little bit of cheeky action, then you want to go over and check out Andy, the fully charged gardener. I'll put both of their channel links down below, but I'll be honest, if you're watching my crap, you're probably already watching their crap as well. I don't mean that. Beautiful channels. So hop over there, but I'd just like to say thank you to them. And if you don't already, do subscribe. I know I've been a bit cheeky today with my videos, but nip over there. And I'd like to say thank you to them because they've been supporting me over the last month or so with some kind words and such. But I'm back up to full speed now. I'm going to be banging out some more of these videos. And I want to get that subscriber rate up. I've got no shame in it. I'm on 600. I want to get up to the 1,000. Now I'm probably going to get dislikes for this, but balls to you, I don't care. I want to hit that 1,000 because let's be honest, when I hit that 1,000 I can start making money out of the channel, and I can actually put some money into it and get some better cameras, get some tripods, and I want to get a proper action camera. I want to get a GoPro so I can get some really good close-up shots. But I think I'm getting by at the moment. So help me, hit that like, hit the comments, hit the dislike. I don't give a monkeys. Any interaction is better than none. Do us a favour, smash it and help build the channel for us. Anyway, I've carried on enough. I won't say goodbye at the end of this. I'll say goodbye now. Let's get that beach done because I'm going to get a wet bunny otherwise. Take you bye. difference now with, let's just give the camera a clean up. Cheeky little shirt up, look there. To be honest, if you're watching my crap, you're probably already watching their crap as well.